The 2025 NFL season comes with a little bit of shock as the Cleveland Browns announce that they are folding their organization and that an expansion team in the NFL will likely be coming in 2026. So what does this mean for some of the top players on the Cleveland Browns, for instance, like Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward? Essentially, what it is going to mean for them is they're going to become unrestricted free agents this year and be joining new teams. Along with all the top players, every single player on the Cleveland Browns ultimately does hit the free agency market. But again, the big ticket names are again Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, David Njoku, Joel Benito, and many, many more. This team is ultimately completely gone. The Miami Dolphins end up picking Denzel Ward up for a 1-year, $7.42 million deal, so he makes his way down to the Miami Dolphins. Joel Benito ends up going in division rivalry to the Cincinnati Bengals, bolstering their offensive line. Myles Garrett ends up shocking everybody in the NFL with him signing with the Tennessee Titans on a 1-year deal. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah ends up going to the Texans, continuing to bolster their defense and making it just that much stronger. David Njoku takes his talents down to Florida with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jerry Jeudy also joins Joel Benito in going to a division rivalry, this time the Cincinnati Bengals, completely overhauling that offense in a way we haven't seen. With the Browns ultimately disbanding, the NFL looks towards keeping a team close to the AFC North, and they actually have a bunch of decisions, but ultimately land on the city of Chicago. Chicago, out of the main cities in North America, this is the only one that's not named New York and Los Angeles that doesn't have a second team that very easily could hold one. And so with the Bears moving their stadium to Arlington Heights, playing there in 2026, Chicago is looking for a second team to fill Soldier Field, and they get one right here. And trying to keep a theme for this team, with the Blues being a very, very prominent thing in Chicago, ultimately the Chicago Blues become the new expansion team coming in 2026. With the Chicago Blues now being the new official NFL team, and we are getting into the season, one thing that does need to be talked about are the draft picks. Right now, the Cleveland Browns will be donating all of the official draft picks that they had to the Chicago Blues for the remaining future. So the Blues will now have the first and fifth pick currently in the draft, but additionally at the end of the year, due to there being no expansion draft, the Blues will also be getting the first and second pick guaranteed this year, alongside this other additional first round pick that the Jacksonville Jaguars. If the Jaguars ultimately have the second overall pick, that will just simply go to the Blues as normal. Here is the first official mock draft going towards the season. Again, since the Blues officially aren't in the league yet, it is still the Cleveland Browns, and they are currently having them taking a quarterback with a defensive tackle going first, third, fourth, fifth. And so there is a lot of talent currently out here. Just taking a look at where the Jacksonville Jaguars ultimately have their pick, and currently right now it is all the way at 29. So there is a lot of talent. Looks like a very defensive tackle heavy class. With it now officially being the offseason, the hunt for the Chicago Blues first ever head coach is now officially on. And during week 3 of the offseason, technically still in the postseason, the Chicago Blues hire offensive coordinator out of the San Francisco 49ers, Darth Cuddles, to be their first ever head coach. So in some other news away from the Chicago Blues, the Philadelphia Eagles go back-to-back Super Bowl titles, and this time they end up beating the Buffalo Bills. The Philadelphia Eagles now with their third Super Bowl championship. Jalen Hurts now with his second Super Bowl MVP. Joe Burrow wins the MVP award. Brian Callahan with the Titans wins Coach of the Year. Joe Burrow wins Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Max Crosby. Crosby. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Ashton Genty, and Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Jalen Walker of the Falcons. So the first ever player in franchise history for the Chicago Blues is none other than center Ryan Kelly. Then we also have Kyer Elm, the corner, and then Isaiah Simmons, the safety that we are going to transition into a linebacker. We were also able to add Cam Akers to the roster as well, including Jordan Meredith, the left guard, and then Brady Christensen, the left tackle. A few extra players that we ended up signing: DaQuan Jones, the big ticket free agent coming onto this team. We also were able to get Tutu Atwell and Jack Sanborn. We have added a ton more free agents throughout this period. I'm not going to go through all of them here at the moment, but if we do have any other significant ones, then I will show you. But likely the next thing we will see in this video is going to be the draft. So we are officially here. It is draft day, and there are so many decisions. What are we going to do? And with the first pick in the 2026 NFL draft and the first ever draft pick for the Chicago Blues, the Blues select defensive tackle out of Florida, CJ Langford, and he is ranked the second, and we drafted him at number 1. An excellent pick. Holds strong at the point of attack, wreaks havoc when available to disengage from run blocks, thrives by winning with speed and finesse moves. This guy is going to be absolutely great. 6'2", 300 pounds, so a little bit on the shorter side, but still very, very good. Just looking at all of these, injury is a C, but that being his worst, this guy is going to be an absolute monster in Chicago. So ultimately, with the second pick, we are going to elect to trade back with the Seattle Seahawks. They're going to be giving us the 5th pick in this year's draft. They will also be giving us the 69th pick. We'll be getting a 2027 2nd, 6th, and 7th round pick, all for the 2nd overall spot here in the draft. Really, really good value for us. And they end up selecting Zay Ramsey, a defensive tackle as well. So we just continue to move on. And with the 5th overall pick in the NFL draft, the Chicago Blues select Matthew Woodley, a left tackle out of Washington. The dude just had great combine numbers, and frankly, this team does need to get a lot better on the offensive line and setting us up for a little bit more. He is the 53rd ranked player, so it's a little bit lower than what we'd want, but I'd still say a fairly decent player, especially because he has that hidden dev trait. And with our final pick in the first round, we go with quarterback Zach Gillespie. This dude is a freak of nature athlete, a premium athlete at the quarterback position, maintains accuracy when throwing on the run, makes easy throws look automatic. He does have that hidden dev trait, which is something that we love. That 91 speed, 89 acceleration means he is going to be able to fly all over the place, and plus he is also a teammate of our first overall pick. And then just taking a look at some of these, he is going to be really interesting having that hidden dev trait. So far, we have hit on all of our first round picks. And for our final pick that I'm going to show you in this part until we actually have all of our guys drafted, we select wide receiver Mark Welsh here with the first pick in the second round. Again, speed, NFL ready pass catcher, strong hands to make catches through contact. This dude is absolutely quick. 97 speed, 91 acceleration, is only 5'8", 177 pounds, so he is maybe a little bit small in the NFL, but this dude is going to be able to run away from people, and that is what we'd like to see in this offense. So now that the draft is officially over, we can see what our players ultimately look like. In CJ Langford, Well, it's no surprise. He is absolutely looking like he is a monster. And I did look to see who the best player in the draft is. This guy is an 83. The top guy is an 85. We'll check him out in a little bit. But our second pick, Matthew Woodley, he ends up being a 74. Our quarterback, Zach Gillespie, is a 70 overall. Our wide receiver in the second round, Mark Welch, is a 73. We ended up taking Tanner Miller, this guard, in the third round, and he does not look like he is much of anything. Scott Gallagher, we took a running back in the, I believe that is the, oh no, it already says third round. I'm just looking at something awkward there. 73 overall power back, so we have a nice little back that we can start to build on. Jake Sims, he is a 65 overall quarterback, new, and he had a story in the actual draft thing, and so I kind of looked at him and said, you know what, potential guy that we could have as a backup for a long time. Neil Wallace, not very good at 64. Desmond McIntosh at a 64. And then we took Max Donnelly, 68 overall, out of Georgia in the 7th round. So actually not too bad of a pick to end the draft. But just taking a look here, again, we obviously had a great pick there. But the top player is Titus Smith, 85 overall, going to the Dallas Cowboys. What a pick that is. So now that the draft is officially over and we have added some of the free agents to fill out our roster and our undrafted free agents, let's take a look at this roster. I'm going to scroll through all of the players position by position. It's going to be a little bit sped up, so if you want to see each guy, make sure to pause the video on them. And that is going to do it for this episode, guys. Thank you all very much for watching. Make sure to tune in to episode number 2, where we go through all of the preseason games. Peace.